I've been in New Orleans.
What is poppin', people, and welcome back to another tattoo time lapse. This time lapse is going to be of a samurai, as you can see. Now this is part of a ongoing sleeve that I'm currently working on. So let's get straight into it. What did I use? Well, firstly I used the stencil solution anchored. I usually use anchored or electrum. Both have their pros, both have their cons. But for this one, I went with anchored stencil solution. The machine that I used, as always, do I really need to tell you? Do I really need to tell you? As always, the machine that I used was a Bishop wand shader. As I've said before, I'm thinking about going up to the Packer, but I love the shader, I love this machine, it's an absolute workhorse. The voltage that I was using was roughly around about 9 volts. Now the needles that I used on this tattoo were a single needle, a 5 round shader, an 11 round shader, a 7 curved mag bug pin, a 13 curved mag bug pin, and a 23 curved mag bug pin. Now the 5 round shader and the 11 round shader were also bug pins, and those were 10 gauge. Now guys, I also, yes, used a single, as I've just said. If you are gonna use single needles, be very, very careful. I wouldn't use a single needle if you are quite new to tattooing. They are a very, very dangerous needle to be using. But I'm an absolute pro, so I can use them. So quickly going on to the area of tattooing now, the elbow. As you can see, the stencil didn't go on very well. If at any point your stencil is gonna fail, it's more than likely going to fail on an elbow. There's just something about that area where the carbon it just will not stick. The elbow just will not pick up that carbon. What you can also see is a big purple line going underneath my stencil. That's not there for any other reason apart from just to separate the stencil from the existing piece. Sometimes when you put a stencil on an existing piece, it can be hard to see where your existing piece ends and where your stencil starts, so that just aids in that. So now, as always, I am starting with black. The first bit of black that I could see was that center of the cherry blossom. So I get that black in there, again, just to compare the rest of my tones against in that area. But guys, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so here we are on day 2. Yes, this was a 2-day piece. Now, I did have to re-stencil the face back on. What I did try to do was keep the stencil overnight, just so I could save myself a little bit of work. But yeah, that didn't work. That did not work at all. It came back the next day and the stencil was ruined. And then, I really made more work for myself because the stencil had been on for that long. It was an absolute nightmare to get off. But I had to re-stencil, and luckily it wasn't too hard to get on. As you can see from where I left off on the bottom left of the beard, there is a little bit of a gap there, just showing that the stencil was off a little bit, but it's not detrimental to the piece at all. As soon as that black's filled in there, you don't see it, you don't even notice it. It's not going to make your piece look any better or any worse. But here I am doing the beard. Now, when it comes to beards and when it comes to hair, especially like this that's nice and straight, curly hair is a little bit different, but when it's nice and straight like this, I turn my mag on the side. I am currently using the 13 curve mag bug pin here to do this hair, and I am also doing just the same technique that I always do, the back and forth motions, whether my mag is on the side or whether my mag is flat. I am always sticking to that same technique. So I just wanted to slow this down and pop in just to show you how light I'm actually being when it comes to building up my grey washes. Now this is a slow process, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've actually gone back a little bit to what I used to do before, whereas now I go in with just the tone that I need. I've actually gone back a little bit and started to build up my tones again, and that's exactly what I did with this piece. I slowly built up my tones, but look how light I am not damaging that skin. There's no irritation on that skin, there's no nothing, because I am being that light, I am being that gentle. By being this light, I get so much time to work on that skin without the fear of overworking. Patience when it comes to black and grey will be one of those things that takes your black and grey to the next level. You know, tattoos don't need to be rushed. I know we have clients, and I know they want their tattoos to be finished, but if you do not finish a tattoo, but the bit that you do is flawless, then, you know, okay, here we are on to the white, but I just want to point out those strands of hair. This is what I used a single needle for, to get those thin strands. And those thin strands weren't actually on the reference at all, but this samurai was battle worn. Hair is not going to be perfect, hair is going to be falling out of that bun that he's got. So I took a little bit of creative liberty here and got those strands in. And I think it works for what I wanted, for what I was going for. It definitely worked. Now when it comes to white, I only use white in wet areas and metallic areas, and that is it. A lot of artists use white on skin and skin highlights and stuff like that, but although it looks good for the photo, you're not really going to see that white on a healed tattoo at all. So for me, it just puts the client under a little bit more stress and a little bit more pain than what's necessary, to be honest. You know, if I went through and explained everything, we'd be here for an 8-hour video, and it would be an actual seminar, and I'm currently working on that, so keep an eye out. But guys, if you are new around here, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to turn on bell notifications to get notified every time I upload a new video. And I shall see you all in the next one. Peace out.